Welcome back, guys. Good to see y'all again here at the Busy Bee Mindset. It's another day. I actually woke up earlier than usual, and we're gonna have a nice little stroll here out in Texas. It's not too hot. It actually feels amazing. It's definitely a little humid, but it is what it is. I'm on the third day of my vacation. Tomorrow's my last day, but I got another day to just kind of relax. And to be honest, I haven't really been relaxing that much. These past 2 days, I've been extremely busy getting some stuff done that I've been procrastinating about, and finally set my foot down and said, okay, we're doing this. And I'm a lot happier now. I'm a lot happier that that's actually taken care of, and it's out of my brain. I don't have to worry about it so much. And today, really the focus would probably be on my insecurities. I know that, I always talk about positivity things, but eventually I'm sure that I'm going to say the same thing over and over and over again. And so I got to start thinking about different ways that I could still talk to y'all about things that I want to, and hopefully you gain some kind of lesson or insight or perspective on that. And at the end of the day, that's what the busy mindset is, right? It's not all about positivity, although that is what I strive and aim for. We're all humans, and we all have different kinds of emotions, and different things happen to us. And so it's almost impossible to do that. But it's pretty much how we tackle these issues on a daily basis that makes us different, that makes us better than what we were yesterday, right? These whole YouTube videos that I'm making, as I've said before, are almost like therapy sessions for myself. These are ways that I could vent or think out loud, but still talk to myself in a way that I would want to talk to some of my best friends if they were in a similar situation. So, in terms of my insecurities, there's a couple. There's really two of the biggest ones that I've got, and that would definitely be my weight, but that one's not that big of a deal. That one's more of a superficial one. People would see my weight and be like, there's nothing to really complain about, but we all have our own standards, and if we're not living up to those standards, then of course our brain starts to think a certain way. But really my biggest insecurity would probably be my eczema. I've been living with probably a severe amount of eczema since maybe second grade. Since I was very young, it's been a very prevalent thing in my life. It's shaped who I am, and it continues to make my life very annoying on a very many different occasions. And if you guys have never had it before, or if you don't really know what it is, I mean, to sum it up, it's pretty much your skin being extremely itchy and extremely uncomfortable. And based on what the doctors have told me, it pretty much covers about like 87-93% of my body for the most part. I've tried all different kinds of medications. You've named it. I've tried Dupixent, I've tried Rinvoq, right now I'm currently trying Nemluvio, and I've gone through so many ups and downs with this disease, or just, it's rough. It makes it very hard to be active sometimes. It correlates to my weight, it correlates to my mental state, it correlates to sometimes how I work, sometimes how I feel about myself. Because I kid you not, guys, I am shedding skin day in, day out, whether I'm asleep, whether I'm awake. Like, my car is full of all these little dust particles. Like, everything in my house is full of like all these dust particles. But it's not, it's literally my skin, my dry skin that gets off. And yes, I put on lotion, but it just doesn't help as much as I would like to. Sometimes I wish that I could literally just like sit in a tub of like steroid cream or something and then get out so that I don't have to physically lotion everything up. But, and you know what? Maybe it's potentially my diet, and I have to go ahead and eat on an extremely healthy diet to avoid this. I know that there's been so many different other people who have suffered with this, and I know that I'm not the only one alone in this situation, but it can definitely be extremely frustrating because when it gets bad, it's not just the fact that like it's itching, it's more like the fact that my skin is almost tearing itself apart and there's like open holes almost. Think of it as like if you get a paper cut and then you accidentally squeeze lemon or lime on that, that stings. And that's pretty much what goes on so many different parts of my body. Like on my back, my shoulders, my arms, my legs, my stomach, my sides, my love handles, everywhere. And it's one of the most annoying things. And sometimes I've even thought like, man, I would kind of hate to have kids because I don't want them to suffer through this that I'm suffering through. I don't want them to be as bad as it is for them, the way it is for me. I got this from my father. And from what I remember, my father didn't have it nearly as bad as I did. And so, yeah, I am scared that maybe I'll pass this down. But at the same time, I'm trying to think that, you know, if I can figure out a way to get through it, if I could get the proper medications, if I could be financially stable, then regardless if I have a kid or not, whoa, hold up guys, sorry. Then regardless if I have a kid or not, I can go ahead and take care of him and hopefully teach him the ways to avoid all the repercussions that I've already had to go through. I think the biggest thing about it is that it hurts me more when I'm working out having this, because all the sweat all over my body, and then I have like these tiny little open cuts everywhere I mean, your sweat is pretty much salt water, right? So that stuff stings, and it stings pretty rough, and it's uncomfortable. But I know that I don't want to be overweight either. I want to make sure that I take care of my health, and I just gotta suffer through the pain sometimes. It is what it is. I would rather feel better about myself physically or when I look in the mirror than use that pain as an excuse, because I've done that plenty of times in the past before. And sometimes I just wish that, you know, I was never born with this in the first place. I feel like my life would be so much easier. But we all have our own problems. I mean, it might not be eczema for you. I'm sure it's probably something completely different. All of us seem to have some kind of health problem that most people aren't aware about, but you're definitely aware about. You know your body better than yourself. You know your body better than anybody else. And whoever's going through something like that, really this video is just to say that you're not alone. You're not alone going in through something a little bit more difficult. You're not alone going through what you think is the hardest thing in the world. But whatever it is that you're going through it for a reason. That's what I like to believe. I like to believe that, you know, as hard as this stuff is right now, one day in the future I'll look back and understand that, well, if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't have learned this. There's always some kind of silver lining that I'm looking for. Because if I don't look for a silver lining, if I don't look for the good and the bad will definitely overtake me. and it's happened so in the past, and the consequences of me letting the bad take over are too great. They affect me too much mentally, physically, emotionally, and I never want to go through that again. Luckily, I went through that when I was on a younger age in my life, and that doesn't mean that it'll never happen again. But what I do know is that in times of crisis, in times of trouble, when I feel those feelings and emotions creeping in again, when I can sense those habits creeping in, and I notice it and I'm self-aware, it's easier for me to hop back on the saddle, so to speak. Get back to where I need to be. Regardless of any of my insecurities, I'm responsible for everything. And so hopefully you guys can take something out of this message. This may not have been my best video, and that's okay. At the end of the day, I'm posting a post, but I also want them to be value. I also want there to be something that you can learn from this. And if there's anything that I would say in this whole message of mine today, is don't let your insecurity stop you from doing what you want to do. Just keep moving forward. And although it may be tough, and although it may be hard, sometimes we just gotta forget what other people are gonna think, because their opinions, to be completely honest, don't really matter. I don't need your validation on this platform. It would be nice to have, it would be nice to know that I'm helping people, but I don't need the validation. I need to believe in myself, and I need to prove to myself that nobody else's opinion matters over me other than my own. And the more and more that I say that, the more and more that I preach that, the more and more it'll become who I am. And I'll learn to love myself that much more, regardless of whatever insecurity I might have right now or in the future. And that's all I got. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you made it this far, drop a like, a comment. I love you guys. Peace out.